Welcome back. We are coming to you live from our nation's capital this morning, talking about jobs, trade, the American worker. On that front, the administration says reducing trade deficits is the top priority for renegotiating the North American Free Trade Agreement, also known as NAFTA, with Canada and Mexico. U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer says an updated agreement will also include a digital economy chapter and fold in labor and environmental obligations. Joining me right now in an exclusive interview to weigh in is the president of the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, James Hoffa. Great to see you, James.
Great to see you.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. So what do you want to see? What's most important to see in this redo of NAFTA from your standpoint?
Well, I talked to the ambassador yesterday, and we talked about what the priorities are, and we've lost over 1 million jobs have gone there. We've got to start getting those jobs back. We've got to have a fair trade agreement. We've got to have one that has content with regard to automobiles built there. We want to have more jobs back here, and we've started that process. The president started out, I remember when he talked about Ford Motor, they basically canned a $2 billion operation and brought it back here. We need more of that to basically re-energize the economy and get those 1 million jobs back. But more than that, we've got to basically have a NAFTA that's fair, that basically controls Mexican trucks that are coming into our country, that are unsafe. We've got to have one that has a good resolution process that's fair. That doesn't happen right now. So there's a lot to do here, and the ambassador is very excited about getting there, and we're going to be working with him, and we think we're off to a great start.
One of the issues with NAFTA was that once that deal happens, it became okay for a company to say, oh, I'm going to go build in Mexico and have all of this cheap labor, and I'm just going to sell back to the U.S. And deal after deal, just sort of, that was the template.
Absolutely right. And we were not sold that. Did anybody, when NAFTA happened in the 90s with Clinton, did anybody think that all these corporations were going to move across the border and basically lay off Americans? Did anybody think that? No, we weren't sold that, and that's exactly what's happened here. I can go through 100 companies. Every union can go through 100 companies that have closed, moved down there. Mr. Coffee, Square D, closed their plants, moved down there, laid off the Americans, make the same product, bring it back here. That's not what this was about. We've got to change that and make it fair, and I think we're off to a good start, and I'm looking forward to working with the ambassador.
Make it fair, but also this stuff is expensive. How do you do it without busting the debt? I want to turn to health care in talking about what's important for American workers. The International Brotherhood of Teamsters sent this letter from yourself and Ken Hall saying that you were against the Better Care Reconciliation Act of 2017. What was your biggest problem with it?
Well, the problem is it's dead right now. I mean, they tried to do it. The Republicans tried to do it with 52 people in the Senate. They didn't make it. And they're going to have to start reaching out to the other side. I think what happened with Obamacare is a good example of what's going to happen with the budget, what's going to happen with everything. They can't do it by themselves. They don't control their 52 people with Murkowski and Collins and other people. So they're going to have a different approach to the budget. They're going to have a different approach to health care. Health care is dead right now. I mean, we're going to have Obamacare. That's going to be the law of the land. That's not changing. That's the way it is.
Do you think it will implode?
No, well, if they keep trying to kill it, it will. I mean, you can kill anything.
No, but I mean, even putting the Republicans aside, I mean, you don't have any choice right now. You haven't had choice in a while. You've got these big insurance companies saying, I'm out of here. I lost $1 billion on Obamacare.
Well, because
so it is imploding, regardless of what's going on in the Republicans.
I think the problem is they have to reach, if they're serious about saving it, they have to get with the Democrats to figure out how we fix it. But they need more money. You can't keep on standing on the air hose and basically think people are going to survive, and that's what's happening. They're saying, we want it to die, we're going to cut the money off, and that's what's going on with these companies. You've got to make an incentive to do it. They're going to need more money to take care of the most vulnerable people.
Did the ambassador respond in terms of what you were looking for NAFTA?
He did. He talked about it, and we're, focusing on workers, focusing on the problems. And we have some unique problems in the Teamsters, which are the trucks coming in here. But we also talked about basically fairness. He's got some good ideas, and we're going to sit down with him, with other labor leaders. We serve on ACPEN, a number of committees that work with the ambassador on NAFTA. So we're excited about what we're doing.
It sounds like you've had a voice. The Teamsters have had a voice in some of these policy plans. How's President Trump doing so far with his promise to create jobs in America and help workers like the Teamsters.
Absolutely. He ran as a populist. He's got to stay on that message. He can't get diverted, and all the things going on are diverting him. He talked about, getting out of TPP. He did that. He talked about a pipeline. He did that. He talked about carrier insurance, keeping those jobs in America. People want that. He's got to get back on that message and don't get hijacked into other things about other things that he's doing that are distracting him, whether it's Russia or whatever. You got to get back on the focus there, and that's got to be the focus with the budget and things that are going to be coming on in the next couple months.
But, I mean